I'm just sitting here at my kitchen counter. I've set up a little monitoring station and also watching the cooking, make sure it doesn't boil over. But this monitoring station consists of three elements. The first is a GPS similar to the one that you use in your car. This actually works as a GPS for a car. But as you can see on the screen, there is a list of call signs. These are people that are online right now. They are there because this is connected to a handheld transceiver with APRS capability. And every time somebody sends out a beacon or the radio automatically sends one out, it sends information to the GPS, so I can get additional information and communicate with them. This is made possible by a little box there you see below that has some lights on it. The blue light means it's working, the green light means the carrier is active, and occasionally you'll see a yellow light flicker off and on as information is sent from the handheld transceiver over to the GPS. There's one right there, a little yellow light blinking. When a transmission is sent, you'll see a red light go on, but I'll get into why this is significant. I can go down through this list of all these call signs, and I can click on any one of them that I like or choose and get additional information. Let's go down to the bottom. Here's one here. Let's click on there, and here's some of the information that comes up. You can see that this particular station is somebody in their pickup truck, and their call sign is listed there. They're at an altitude of 1,240 feet, which is a few thousand feet lower than where I'm located at 6,500 feet. They were on a course of 63 degrees. They're currently not moving. Their latitude and longitude is shown there. I could make them as a target if I wanted to track them in that particular station, and even set my GPS if I wanted to go there if that was my desire, but I don't particularly want to go to their location right now. Anyway, I have some other choices here. You can see I can delete them or save all that information as a contact for future reference. I can show where they're out on a map or send them a text message via this little handheld transceiver. I'll just show on the map where they're at. It's nighttime, so the screen is dark, but you can see they're located on Bell Road, which is in Phoenix, and you can see the other streets around there. I can zoom out to give you a better idea of where this is located. You can see as I zoom out, more and more of the streets come into view, and you can see Sun City West, which is on the west side of Phoenix, which is about 4-hour drive from where I'm located. There's Surprise, Arizona, El Mirage, and Glendale. You can see down there in the corner, that's where the Super Bowl will be held next year. And as I go out further and further, then you can see that the number of other stations have come online. Every time somebody comes online, the information is registered, comes from my radio through this little box and into the GPS. So I'll zoom out even further, and so you can get the big picture. You can see there's Los Angeles, Tijuana, Mexico. This cluster down here is around Tucson, Arizona. There's a big cluster around Phoenix, a cluster of stations around where I'm located. Also more up around the Flagstaff and I forget the name of the other city up in Arizona. There's a big cluster of stations up there. Over here in the corner you can see one called Diza, that's in New Mexico. Over here further, Tapia, that's Albuquerque, New Mexico. I occasionally pick up a station from El Paso, which is approximately 400 miles from where I'm located. This one in Durango, let me go out a little further. zoom out even further. And Durango, Colorado is about 300 miles. So I'm picking up all these signals from locations of about a 400 mile radius. And this is just with my handheld and the antenna that's built in sitting in my house in my kitchen. So the signal's having to go through the walls as well as whatever else is outside to get here, but I can still pick up signals from 300 or 400 miles. Now, why would this be important? First of all, this little system I have here is totally run by batteries. I have it plugged in right now, but it plugs into the cigarette lighter on my car. I can run the whole thing from my car or from any location for that matter. I have a clips. I can clip it right onto any 12-volt battery and run the whole thing. And I can set up a station. I can see who's online within a 304 mile radius. And this is just set at 2 hops. I could increase the hops and probably pick things up from even up to thousands of miles, which some people have done if I wanted to do that. But that would greatly increase the density and it causes a lot of signals to be sent out to do that. So, but it is possible. So if I, let's say there was a grid down situation, all the lights went out, and I had no idea of what was going on. You know, power's out, you turn on your radio, the radio doesn't work. Try to look on your telephone's off, the electricity's went out. So basically you can look outside, see what's going on around you, but you don't know what's going on in the next city or the next state or the whole country or the world for that matter. But I could turn this on and I could see how many signals came up. And of course, most of these signals you're seeing here, that because they're APRS, they're usually from a handheld transmitter or a transmitter in somebody's vehicle, occasionally in people's houses and that, and businesses. So they would do the same thing I'm doing and would try to figure out what's going on. They'd turn on their radios and come online. Now, very few of them have it hooked up to a GPS where they can get this whole big picture and do messaging and so forth. So I would turn it on and I would look and I would see clusters. I could for instance, let me zoom in a little bit more here. I can find out if signals are coming from Phoenix. If they weren't coming, if there was no signals coming from Phoenix, then that would be a big concern, because that would tell me that something really bad happened in Phoenix, or likewise in other cities around me, up to the range I've set right now, which is 300 or 400 miles. I could tell if signals were blocked out completely, then something bad has happened, that people can't even turn on their radios. I can also zoom in here and look at roads. I can go in the wrong way. Let me zoom in and we'll look at some of there's freeways that come from, go out of Phoenix. Some of these signals come from vehicles, like there's a vehicle right there and there's a freeway there. When things get difficult, if people try to leave town, then I would see a collection of signals on along the road where people were leaving, because some of them, not everybody has a radio, and not very many people have this type of radio. But even right now, there's a vehicle there. I've got about 4 or 5 vehicles on my just that I've picked up since I turned this on. What these vehicles, where they're collecting, tells you what's going on. If they're all on a road heading out of a city, then you know that people are trying to get out of town, and you can actually tell how fast they're moving by, it gives that information on the signal information as well. If they're stopped, then you know that the road's completely clogged up. So that's valuable information when you're sitting in your place. The grid's down and TV doesn't work and you can't get any information. I can look on here. I can check the cities in my vicinity, and I can tell who's online, who's not online, and where people are going, and if they're moving fast or slow, or if not moving at all. That's a lot of valuable information. that tells me if I was trying to go a certain direction, then I would know if the road was blocked or not, and I'd know if there's no signals in an entire area that something really significant had happened to knock all those signals out. And then I could also select a. I can pick out somebody. Say there was a big area that was blocked out and there's no signals. Something bad happened. I could find a call sign along the edge of that, and I could go back to my list of contacts and pick out, say, a contact, and I could see here's one here. This is actually weather place, but given the wind and the other information about the weather. But if I wanted, I could send a message and ask a question. Say, I could first just say hi and see if they responded, or I could add additional information. But then I just push send, and that's how easy it is to send a text to another radio. If I go back, then you can see on my message section, you can see I've got the outgoing message I just sent. I've got some other messages I've sent. I've got 2 messages received. You can look at those, and you can see I've done some tests here. But these messages are sent right through these little handheld or vehicle-based or business-based or home-based radios, and it's a way of communicating when the entire grid is otherwise down and gaining information. Another thing is, if I go back to the contacts and say, look, the one I just sent one to, I can show on the map where they're at, get right down almost to their address. But when a message comes in, it flashes up on my screen and tells me I've got a message from somebody. So this little system, it's a way to gather a lot of intelligence and communicate with people after the grid goes down, and it's very easily set up. It looks simple, but it's doing all the settings and so forth is a little bit complicated, and you have to be able to connect to a GPS, have the correct one and the right type of radio, and a special little box that you have to program as well. So it's simple, since I can stick it in my pockets and head out the door and gather intelligence wherever I go. But once it's set up, then all I do is just push the on button on the 2 things, plug them in, and that's it. And I'm gathering all the information that I need. For instance, the same thing could be done if you're in rural Indiana. The cities are more dense back there and closer, so from that location, if I was back in that part of the country and I turned this thing on, I would most likely see a lot of signals coming up from cities to include Chicago. I would have some from Indianapolis, probably Nashville, probably even as far as Atlanta, since that is within a few 100-mile range that I can pick up even with just this little handheld antenna. And I could see where people were going or where they're trying to get away from, and pick out selected call signs and communicate with them to find out what's going on. If I didn't want anybody to know my location, I could just gather the information, look at all this, and see what everybody else is doing without sending out a signal to give my location away. But even if I was to send out a signal, I do it without using the voice, and it goes through a APRS channel that most people are unlikely to be even looking at. And if I sent it coded a little bit to whoever I was talking to, then even if somebody did intercept it, they wouldn't know what was going on. But if they were really sharp and you kept doing it, they could pinpoint your location. So you can see I've got a message on there. If I wanted to pick up a message, I just click on there, and there's my message that I got from one I sent before. I can go back to my map at any time. But it's very simple to use once it's set up, and gathers a lot of valuable information after the grid goes down. So this is what I've been working on, one of the projects lately.